Hello, welcome to Winging It. This is another supplementary deck upgrade episode for Arkham Horror, the card game. This is the deck upgrade for Diana and Preston, their taboo decks, in between Scenario 2 and Scenario 3 of the Circle Undone. This is critically before... this is Diana's deck we're looking at now, and this is critically before the secret name, which has kind of been a scenario I've had in view of wanting to make sure that I was really ready for. Now, I ended up with more XP going into this scenario than I'd maybe expected, although maybe I could say this is what I would have hoped for, because it is getting me everything that I feel like I really need in order to be successful. And what I mostly think about in this scenario is the ability to handle the really big rats that come out. And there's a lot of they can be big health enemies. They can be odd health enemies, which means you don't want to waste a lot of charges or ammo. Doing single points of damage. Now, once you get your willpower up, actually, Diana's Twilight Blade can do a good job handling those extra odd health without having to waste a charge. The Enchanted Blade can do that as well, although it's only giving her +1 to her fight, so that may sometimes not be quite as good. I will say, after saying that I'm not a fan of the Enchanted Blade in Diana, I am glad that I hung on to that one, as it was very useful toward the end of that scenario, and I think I'm feeling comfortable right now with the number of weapons that are in her. I haven't gotten a chance to use Prepared for the Worst. I have 2 in her, so I can yank her signature, as well as maybe grabbing the 45, as necessary. So I don't know. It hasn't really, but in other plays, it's definitely been good to have Prepared for the Worst with her big 35 card deck, and only having 2 weapons, or 3 weapons if you include her signature. So anyway, we'll see how that plays out. The secret name also has a location in the earlier part of the scenario that will let you get an item from your deck. That's something I plan to use for Diana to get her signature weapon, or if she somehow already has it, to get a 45 out. Anyway, that's a discussion of kind of the various weapons. So that leads us to a priority upgrade for me to get her consistent fighting is to grab Shriveling. Now this only cost me 1 XP because of the 2 arcane researches that she has. So this is a pretty easy and straightforward upgrade. I have the 1 upgraded Shriveling already, but I'm going to get rid of the old level 0 Shriveling. So that gives us a real consistency when it comes to Shriveling. If you saw in the last scenario at Death's Doorstep, you saw that I managed to pull the 1 upgraded Shriveling earlier, and that was really huge for being able to just have her up and able to fight pretty early. 2 cancels plus that Shriveling gets her up to fighting at a 5, which is good. Alright, so again, we're talking about odd health enemies. I mean, the classic answer to that is the Beat Cop, because you can ping for damage, the upgraded Beat Cop. So we're definitely replacing and making sure we have 2 Beat Cops. This was kind of critical. If nothing else, I wanted to have 2 Beat Cop, 2 upgraded Beat Cops coming in to help dealing with those odd health rats when they become odd health. Also, there may even be some synergy with Preston and Beat Cops and marksmanship being able to hit aloof enemies. So, Preston has like coup de grace and potentially an upgraded sneak attack. The marksmanship ignores aloof, and so when Brown Jenkin is aloof, we might be able to take him out. I don't know if that will actually happen. We'll see, but we do have ways of doing direct damage without having to engage enemies. So, Beat Cop is just kind of a part of that overall solution. All right, so Enraptured. I actually like Enraptured. It's really good at Daisy, I think. If you take the archaic glyphs and then the upgraded versions. It's only something I put in Diana early on when I feel like she had, when, you know, in her early deck with only 2 enchanted blades and 2 shrivelings in her deck, I feel like I just want to be able to have extra charges, and so that's why I put Enraptured in her level 0 deck. But it's something that I don't want to really hold on to. It's not a card that I have long term for her. So I'm going to take both of those out, and I'm going to upgrade to an extra ammunition. Now, this is actually the first time I've tried extra ammunition in Diana. It's obviously kind of solving the same kind of problem that Enraptured does, except that it does it for my automatic instead of the Enchanted Blade and the Shriveling. Now, where this is, there's a little bit of anti-synergy here if the point is to put 45 automatics under her, but that really isn't the main point of the 45 automatic. The main point of the 45 automatic is it does allow me to use marksmanship. It does allow me to use 1 hand slot and get a +2 fight, which is excellent for Diana. And I just always find it's good to have a weapon that ignores retaliate, even if you're not going to use it to put it under her. And, if I do need to sacrifice some ammo, it's fine. But being able to get a little bit of extra, work out of that automatic with the extra ammunition, I think is a good idea. So, all right. And then the other is, this is a really, as our shrivelings are doing us, horror, or just as we're trying to deal with haunted effects, having a counter spell is good. I want to get a second one of these. And that will kind of get my phase 1 of Diana complete, where I'm just getting up to kind of, cruising level with her, which is where I want to be. So I do have this counterspell. I'm not sure if I will get the second counterspell before I go on to working on my stat boosters. So, we'll see. But this is what I'm going to do instead of the other Enraptured. Now, the plan for when I say stat boosters is to replace Steadfasts with which are becoming a little bit dicey just because of she's got 3 horror on her at the beginning, which makes Steadfast very easily get back into only 2 willpower or 2 fight value, which I mean is fine. Still having 2 fight or 2 willpower is generally enough where she needs to be, but I typically upgrade Steadfast into physical training level 2, which does almost the same thing. It's only 2 of each, but it's generally good enough, and of course you can actually just play it, so then you can use resources, which I don't find I have just an abundance of resources in Diana to be able to just always be boosting, but being able to boost 1 or 2 here or there is really good, and plus you can always commit physical training level 2 to be very close to Steadfast. So that will be the plan for Steadfast, and then Well Prepared instead of my Unexpected Courage will be a good combination with physical training too. If you can get that out, or if you can have it out with her signature weapon, because her signature weapon, has 2 willpower, 2 fight, gives her that plus Well Prepared also gives her a way to boost stats. So that's kind of my stage 2, as it were, with Diana, and we're about to be in that territory. I'm probably going to go down that road as much as possible, with the I don't know if I'll get another counterspell. I'd like to have 2, but I also like to get those online. So I don't know. We'll see how we do after the secret name. Hopefully we get some XP in the secret name, and then of course upgrading water protections will also be an important consideration there. So that's where we're at with Diana, and that is where we're going. I feel really good about this deck going into the secret name. So now let's check out Preston. And here's Preston going into the secret name. We have 6 XP to spend with him. So the main thing for me with Preston was getting his ability to consistently get clues online. He did a great job at Death's Doorstep. Now, of course, one of the reasons he's been doing so well is we've been able to get well connected out right away. But you may not draw it early on, which is why we want to have some redundancy in his ability to get clues. How are you going to get clues without well connected? Of course, we have Plucky. So Plucky is an answer, and we did get it out and use it a little bit, but of course you have to rely harder on Plucky when you don't pull well connected right away. So to that end, the things that I wanted to do was to give me some protection for Plucky, meaning more horror soak, and I can't rely on Peter since I have Lola Santiago out, and I wanted to get, my second copy of Lola Santiago. So the first upgrade, very easy, straightforward, is to get another Lola Santiago and get rid of Peter. Now, Peter may come back. If we can get another Charisma, this may be kind of our luxury upgrade at the end, toward the second half. I haven't really thought too far ahead, but that's kind of my plan, is to potentially go to a Peter level 2 and get a Charisma, and then, he can just be running an army of allies. I think it's perfectly fine for, him to have, his friend Leo, his friend Lola, and his friend Peter running around with him. But that is not what we're doing for now. So the other thing is, in order to give him more protection for Plucky, if we have to rely on it, again, which is actually kind of a backup to Well Connected, but also Plucky would allow him to do multiple clues per turn. Probably, if he doesn't have Lola out. So all of these things, his real between Plucky and Lola and Well Connected are all his ways of getting clues. And a little bit the Gravedigger Shovel, but hopefully that'll be going away soon. Anyway, we are going to take an adaptable. So now we have, we can trade out, that's 1 XP, we can trade out 2 level 0 cards. We're going to go ahead and drop our 2 decoys. They're nice, they've been useful, but we are now a little, first of all, I don't know how much we're going to want to be, evading. And he can, in the secret name, and he can evade. Again, with Well Connected, or, with Dig Deep. He has, kind of ways to do evasion. So we're going to drop 2 of those. And instead, we're going to be throwing in Cherished Keepsakes. So these will just be some horror soaks that he can have out, to keep Plucky alive. Okay. And then this represents right here kind of my phase 1 cruising altitude for Preston being able to get clues. Now, the goal from here is to make him a little bit more self-sufficient on the damage end of things, let him be able to contribute a bit more of fighting when he's not needing to be getting clues. Diana is mostly fight heavy, but she does have the Sixth Sense. Once that comes online, we didn't need to, or we didn't get to use it last time. But I did use it in the first scenario. And so Sixth Sense will come in for her. Sometimes she'll use it if need be. Well, I think Preston needs the same kind of thing. I do want him to focus on clues, but being able to do some fighting is good. So one of my favorite cards for Preston is the upgraded Sneak Attack, which just lets, it's so good because you don't have to evade things first. You can just attack them and do some damage. So we're gonna go ahead and replace upgrade one of our sneak attacks, which that finishes off our 6 XP. Sneak attack 2 is especially good in because Brown Jenkin spawns aloof, so we could sneak attack him and then beat cop him, or we could use coup de grace, or there's lots of things that we have that'll allow us to hit those aloof enemies. So, and then of course there's also for combat we're going to upgrade the other sneak attack eventually, and we have these 2 Gravedigger Shovels, which I don't really want to keep around too long. I'm going to be putting in Ornate Bows, and that's probably on the menu for the next upgrade. Along with that, I'll be adaptabling in Scavenging, which will allow me to recur flashlights and bows, which of course can compete for slots. But I think often, if you can drop one and play the other, depending on what it is that you need to be doing at the time, and that's kind of okay. And the other thing that Scavenging will let me recur will be the Cherished Keepsakes, if I need to provide Plucky protection. So, anyway, that is where we're looking at going into the secret name. I feel really good about these decks, which probably means I'll get smashed, because it's never good to feel good in Arkham, right? But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed looking at these deck upgrades, and we'll see you in the secret name.